And we're live. What's going on, everybody? It's Friday. It's noon. This is a new thing. I'm just going to say it. Rick Beato, Machine Gun Kelly, and many other people that you may not think so, they deserve signature guitars. And we're going to talk about why. So, first of all, let's handle what we're doing here. This is kind of a new thing that I'm going to try because there are many other guitar YouTuber folks that have, you know, opinion pieces or editorial columns on their YouTube channels. And I thought, you know what? I've never really done this, so I'm going to do it. And everybody teases me about saying, I'm just going to say it. So that's what we're calling it. And we're doing them live. And the reason I want to do them live is because I feel like if there is an opportunity to have actual, well, as close as we can in 2021 over distance, real conversations in the comments and do this sort of stuff in the comments in a live stream, that we will we will better understand each other, especially when our opinions are different. What we're going to talk about today is actually kind of a new thing for me. I've given this a lot of thought, and I've actually kind of changed my personal viewpoint on it, and so I wanted to share it with you. Where this came from, everybody wants to think it came from the Machine Gun Kelly guitar, but not actually. This came for me from, well, first of all, let's talk about it. So, signature guitars, there's always been this thing, right? Like a new signature guitar will come out and people will be like, this person doesn't deserve a signature guitar. They're not that good a guitar player. They don't feature guitar enough. They don't actually play that particular guitar. They're not good enough. I've never heard of them. You know, you could come up with all these reasons why people would say a particular person does not deserve a signature guitar. Okay. And for me, I've never really cared about it that much until Rick Beato announced that he was getting one. And I'm like, what? He's a YouTuber. I mean, I know he's a producer and he's got a massive pedigree. Like, he is super well respected, and he should be, because he's amazing at everything he does. But when I first saw it, my first reaction was, he's a freaking YouTuber. Why does he get a signature guitar? And then I thought about it for like a half a second. And I thought, no, I'm looking at this wrong. He has now, I believe, just shy or right at 3 million subscribers on YouTube, with literally millions of views on his channel a month. And it got me thinking, why do people that we may not think should have signature guitars, why do they get them? I think there's a common misconception here. And the misconception, the common misconception is that these things are earned, deserved. So in the past, when we would see a signature model guitar like David Gilmour or a Zakk Wylde, well, he went and started his own company. Jimi Hendrix. We think about all these. The Jimmy Page Telly. These are guitarists, legacy guitar players, who have earned, in our minds, for some reason, the right to have a signature guitar and be represented in that way. But this is where everybody who thinks that, and I'm just going to say it, is wrong. Signature guitars are not for the artist. They have nothing, they actually have very little to do with the artists themselves. What a signature guitar is it is a marketing campaign on the behalf of, on the part of a particular guitar manufacturer to market a product by using a particular guitar player's name. That guitar player didn't earn anything in this situation. Well, they do. We'll talk about that in a minute. But they did not earn this as a point of status and then were bestowed upon them the trophy of a signature guitar. No. This was Gibson or Fender or PRS or Schecter or anybody seeing an income opportunity in a particular guitar player's name, and they're saying, if we can put your name on our product, then we will sell more product. It is a marketing exercise by a manufacturer to sell more product. In return, the signature guitar player gets, well, I don't know on every brand, but I have heard $100 to $300, like for Schecter, is a good example. Hard cost that would go to the artist. So they, in turn, they get paid a royalty on every guitar that is sold that their name is put on in exchange for using their name. Now, most of the time, this also means that there is some association of the guitar to the artist. So it's the one that they actually play on stage or something very close to the one that they actually play on stage. For example, John Mayer's Silver Sky, apparently he actually plays those guitars on stage. Now, this has changed over time. And I think this is where people get super bent about this. Billy Joe Armstrong got a signature guitar and everybody got bent about it. Avril Lavigne got a signature guitar and everybody got bent about it. More recently, obviously, because I bought the guitar and I put it in the thumbnail, Machine Gun Kelly got a signature guitar and everybody is very bent about that. Because they're falling back on this whole legacy thing of the person should earn the right to have the trophy of a signature guitar bestowed upon them. Machine Gun Kelly doesn't deserve it because he's not that good of a guitar player. Okay. This is where we need to set everything straight. It has nothing to do with how good the guitar player is. It has to do with the amount of reach that a particular guitar player or artist has to expand the audience of the guitar company in question. So, let's look at a few examples. We're going to go back a little bit to 2007 and talk about Avril Lavigne. Avril Lavigne got a signature, her real hit record was like in 2003. By 2007, Fender made her a signature guitar. Remember, it was a Telecaster, it had I think it had a polka dot pick guard, and it had a star or something inlaid in like the 5th or 7th fret. It was actually kind of cool. If you'll recall, it was a Squier. It was not an actual Fender. And this is going to get onto another point here in a minute about how this kind of all allegedly works. Because, some artist signatures are $6,000. Some artist signatures are a Squier. This goes back to where the marketing of these products fit into the overall scheme of things. So, when Skater Boy made it huge, and Avril Lavigne made it huge, who was her audience? A bunch of probably angry teenage skater boys and girls. What guitar were young preteen and teenager guitar players gonna buy? They were not going to buy a $6,500 Gibson. They were not going to buy a $6,500 custom shop Fender. They were going to buy a $399 Squier. And then you put the artist premium on top of it, and her guitar was $479 at the time when it came out, which makes about sense for now, so it would be $649, something like that with inflation. Makes sense. It's just a Squier with a different pick guard and a different inlay, marketed to folks that could afford, would afford, and were, more importantly, her audience at the time. It was not marketed to lawyers. It was not marketed to the Gibson lawyer crowd. It was marketed to who her fans were at the time and who Fender felt they could put this guitar in their fans, Avril Lavigne's fans' hands. Sorry about that. And then actually be able to grow the audience of Fender by piggybacking it on Avril Lavigne's success. Make sense? Okay, that's 2007. Billy Joe Armstrong, Green Day. Same thing, right? They were super hot. It came a few years later for him, but his guitar cost a little bit more because his guitar came a few years later and his fans by then were a little bit older, probably could afford a little bit more. Think about Rick Beato's guitar, same kind of thing. It's a little more expensive than a Squier Fender Strat or Fender Tele. We could jump all the way to the other extreme. Think about somebody like Marcus King. Now, Marcus King's an interesting one because he plays an ES345, and his artist series is actually like $6,000. But who is his audience? It's not a bunch of teenagers. If you built a Marcus King Epiphone, maybe a few more people would buy it. But if you built a Marcus King Squier, like all the way down to like a $500 guitar, his audience is not that. His audience is lawyers who are hanging on to yesterday's sounds. I mean, I'm just going to be straight with you. When you start to look at PRS's lineup, it's the same thing. The way they are priced, it's almost like the more the target audience can afford, the more the signature guitar costs, and that audience is who they're looking for. Jerry James Nichols, excellent example. It's an Epiphone. It's under $1,000. Lots of people are buying it, and we're going to talk about why younger guys are getting these deals in just a minute. But you look at that guitar, and it's basically a single pickup Epiphone gold top thing. Joe Perry's is $6,000, and it's basically the same thing, just fancier. Why? Why don't they have a Joe Perry Epiphone? Because, again, the target audience of Joe Perry is not the same target audience as Jerry James Nichols. And there's a massive, massive reason for that, and we're going to talk about that in just a second. And I am going to cruise over here to these comments and see if... Let's see. Let's just look really quick. Okay, and another thing we want to talk about here, because everybody's saying, I heard that this particular signature guitar is actually very good. The quality of the guitar has nothing to do with this. PRS, if they put out a SE version, it's going to be just like a normal SE. The Schecter that is the Machine Gun Kelly guitar, it's not going to be crappy. It's going to be exactly what you would expect of any other guitar from Schecter in that price point. Because and this is the other thing that's so dumb. The quality of the instrument has nothing to do, actually, with the artist. Now, the spec might, because of how they want it to be spec'd, but the quality of the instrument doesn't have anything to do, has zero connection with your opinion of the artist. I should say that. Because if you don't like Machine Gun Kelly, or if you don't like Avril Lavigne, that doesn't mean the guitar is going to be crappy. Those things are zero connected whatsoever, have nothing to do with either, has nothing to do with anything. If you don't like Slash, that doesn't mean that his guitar sucks. His guitar is actually very, very good. You just don't like Slash. There's no connection there. Has nothing to do with it. And everybody, has said to me, like, I can't wait for you to do a review of the Machine Gun Kelly guitar to see if it's actually any good. It's going to be freaking amazing. Because, honestly, Schecters in that price point are very good. They are very good. I actually already have a guitar that's a Schecter in that price point, and it's very good. There's no reason why it wouldn't be. Now, you may not personally like the spec, the color, the humbucker, placement, the fact that it has a kill switch, that it's pink, whatever. You might not like that, but that doesn't make the guitar not good. You just might not personally be drawn to it. So the fact that the guitar is good or bad has nothing to do with it. And the fact that you don't like the artist or not has nothing to do with it. Let's see. And you're right, Vinny. There was a Joe Perry Epiphone. You're right about that. I was going through. There was, and something that a lot of people should know when I do these videos and when I prepare any of these videos on this channel, I'm looking at current models available. Nobody can be expected to keep up with everything that was ever made. So whenever we say Fender Stratocaster is available, we're talking about stuff available right now. Yes. Okay, so here's the question. Here's an interesting thing. How can Schecter justify... why doesn't David Gilmour have a new signature model every year? Here's why. Because all those legacy guitar players are honestly sitting back and living on their legacy now. They might be coming out with new records, and they are coming out with new material. David Gilmour may have a new record. Zakk Wylde may have a new record. Jimmy Page may have a new record. Whatever. Doesn't matter. The bottom line is they are largely, and I'm not saying 100%, but they are largely relying on their legacy audience. And how do we know that? Because of how they are reaching their legacy audience. What I mean by that is, take for example, David Gilmour. David Gilmour, let's see, hang on, I have this right in front of me. I don't want to say this improperly. Pink Floyd, their YouTube channel, has 2.77 million subscribers. And over the last month, they've had 26 million views on their YouTube channel. David Gilmour has 704,000 subscribers, and over the last month, he actually went down a half a million views over last month. Can't see, but he's only had 184 million total views, which sounds like a lot. But what I'm getting at here is all these legacy players. This is just one example. I looked up a bunch of people. Some of these legacy players don't even have YouTube channels. They don't even have Instagrams. They don't even have TikToks. They have none of this stuff. The bottom line is they are going to reach the same exact audience that they reached the last time they put out a record, because they are using the same legacy methods to reach audience. They are not updating how they reach new audience like everybody else is. When Rick Beato has more subscribers on YouTube than Pink Floyd, that says something. Not about Rick Beato, but it says something about Pink Floyd. The reason it's important is because Gibson will see that and they'll say, you know, we already know that somebody like Pink Floyd, who doesn't play Gibson anyway, but we're just going to use the numbers as an example. We already know somebody the size of Pink Floyd and the age of Pink Floyd, has 2.4 million subscribers, 2.7 million subscribers, whatever. When they come out with a new record, they're going to be looking at their same audience. Their same audience already knows who Gibson is. When Rick Beato comes out with something new, does something new, makes some crazy video that everybody disagrees with, he will be constantly growing audience. And he will be constantly growing not only his audience, but the eyeballs that Gibson will now have on their product. So they will be gaining new audience because he is currently working to gain new audience. That means that the artists that get on the ball with this, with TikTok, with Instagram, with YouTube, and do the things that you should be doing, that everybody who owns a business, I don't care if it's musicians, anybody, should be doing in 2021, will continually gain new audience. The guitar companies will see that, and they will want to do it. Even that they will want to work with you, even if you are not some shreddy legacy guitar player that we think deserves a signature model. Okay, let's get on to the big one. Machine Gun Kelly. I posted this earlier this week to say that I bought this guitar in a particular Facebook group, and 350 comments just completely flaming me for buying this guitar and saying that he doesn't deserve it and blah, 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 blah. And he said something mean about Slipknot. Boo freaking who. Okay. Let me give you some numbers on Machine Gun Kelly. He has 9 million followers on Instagram. He has 8 million subscribers on YouTube. In the last 28 days, he has had 52.3 million views on YouTube. By the way, that netted him on YouTube somewhere around $240,000 in the last month, just from YouTube revenue, nothing else. This dude is a social media powerhouse. He is putting so many eyeballs on him. I don't care how he does it. You may not agree with how he does it. That's not relevant. You may not like how he does it. And I understand that. I do understand that. A lot of people don't like a particular personality. Okay, I get that. But when a company looks at numbers and says, how can we make some dough? How can we sell a guitar? They're going to look at these numbers and they're going to say, there are eyeballs on this dude. Schecter, who is not really a legacy guitar company. We're not talking about, around from the 50s or whatever. And their market is younger players. They say, well, you know what? Let's take a $700 guitar. Let's chuck a premium on it for an artist. Let's make it crazy. The dude's getting a lot of attention right now. We'll sell the crap out of these. And you're going to say, yeah, well, everything I've seen online over the last 2 weeks says that this is going to be crap and that nobody's going to buy it. Okay. Nobody who normally listens to not this music, like Pink Floyd and Allman Brothers and Led Zeppelin and stuff, yes, you are not going to buy it. I agree, you won't buy it. That, and nothing against you for saying that. This is no negative. I'm just saying, I get it. You are not that audience. But I'll tell you who is the audience. We go back to the Avril Lavigne thing. 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, teenagers, younger folks just wanting to get into guitar. Maybe they are into rap. Maybe they are into hip hop. Maybe we have a bunch of kids that are into rap and hip hop also making the maybe he is helping them make the move over to playing guitar. Schechter says, this is how we're going to gain market share by picking up all these young kids who are into rap and hip hop and helping them over into guitar with an artist that they are familiar with. And you're going to say, nobody listens to that guy. Well, let me tell you what. After last night's live stream, I just so happened to pick up my phone. Like we were live for an hour, and so I had my phone. I picked it up, and I was just checking my notifications. One of my notifications was on Instagram because I do follow him on Instagram. I do follow Machine Gun Kelly on Instagram. And I clicked on it, and it's him live streaming as he's walking out to the stage to one of his shows. The place is absolutely freaking packed. He starts to sing, and there are thousands of kids in the audience singing every word to this song. I don't know the song, but all these kids know the song. And guess what? He's playing the pink guitar that I ordered. That's not the important part. The important part is this. I'm on Instagram, and I'm looking, and I'm watching the comments go by of all these people absolutely worshiping this dude. There are 36,000 people on the live stream. That is insane. You want to talk about reach? You want to talk about control of market share or the potential to do so? Are you doing that on the way out to the stage when you play your gigs? I bet you aren't. That right there is why he has a pink guitar with his name on it. That is why. And that's what everybody needs to be doing right now. That's why I'm freaking online every day. Because I need to sell pickups to make a living. It's the same thing. But he has the audience. And Schechter is like, I want some of that audience. And everybody says, rap and hip hop is taking over and it's killing the guitar. And now we have an artist who is like, you know what? I'm transitioning from rap over to play guitar. And now you like flame the crap out of him and hate him for doing that? Like, listen to you know what I mean? Like, that's stupid. That's totally stupid. It's totally stupid to be that overly idealistic about it. It just doesn't make any sense. Phil McKnight did a video similar to this about Taylor Swift being as important for younger girls and others starting at... Yes. Dude, exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. When we want to talk... See, and this is the thing. Okay. And I mean, I could go off on a whole other rant about this, but basically the bottom line is this. Legacy guitar players who preach Allman Brothers and Led Zeppelin and Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix and Van Halen are the only guitar gods and there are no other guitar gods, you are the reason guitar is under attack. Because your kids don't want to hear that crap. They want to be creative in their own way. They want to listen to what they want to listen to, and they want to apply the instruments in the way that they want to apply them to the music, and they want to be creative in their own way. And if they want to record from a Squier Telly into an iPad and put some goofy effects on it and put it on TikTok, let them. Because that is exactly where this world is going, whether you like it or not. And I've said this many, 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 many times, and I will always say it. The guitar companies that get this, like Schechter, are the ones that are going to be around in 20 or 30 years. This is why I think Gibson is doing so much better with this lately. I really do. And actually Fender too, signing younger signature artists, trying to go for younger artists. All these folks that are like vintage, 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 the oldest way is the best way, and tube amps forever, and blah, 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 blah. Those people, um, they're going to die out. And I know that people disagree with me on that, which is fine, but they're going to die out. They're totally going to die out. Yeah, I mean, that's it. Curmudgeon. The word you're looking for is curmudgeon. Dylan, I agree with you totally, but why do we care what the guitar companies do? All companies use gimmicks to capture clients. You should sponsor some good young guitar players with your pickups. I don't need to. I'm so busy right now, and that sounds like a cocky thing to say, but I don't need to. I, I I don't need this. This is what I do. This is how I do it. We chat every day. Um, and the interesting thing is, why do we care what guitar companies do? Well, here's the deal. All the hate on the over this guitar for the last 2 weeks since it got announced shows that people think they care. But here's the interesting part. People are going to say that guitar is going to fail. It's, I haven't seen anything positive about it online. Okay, if 100,000 people, let's just say, if 100,000 people in Facebook groups right now said, I will never buy that guitar, what percentage of that 59 million views on YouTube is that? It's 0.001%. So if 0.001% of that 52 million views said, you know what, I'm going to buy a pink guitar, that means Schecter sells 100,000 of these things. And they're laughing all the way to the bank while everybody is angry online. I mean, which means you just wasted a bunch of blood pressure medicine and a bunch of time on something that absolutely has zero effect on anything. Because that's what's so funny to me is that angry people in Facebook groups think they're having this huge effect on, like, yeah, well, we're not gonna blah blah blah. You don't. You totally don't. I mean, it's so funny. I think it's so funny. And I'm excited to buy the guitar. I will tell you, um, a lot of people are. Ooh, my tea is hot. It's tea. I'm super super hot. Um, a lot of people um, will say that I bought this guitar for the shock value and for the clicks. And what's really funny about that is it's totally not true. I like pink guitars. I like tellies. I like single pickup guitars. I've never had one with a kill switch. And I want to develop a new humbucker specifically for the metally kind of tone. Which, sneak peek, I mentioned it last night, but we're coming out with a couple of new humbuckers here in the next 2 or 3 months. So I actually kind of needed that guitar. And I felt like, well, for $8.99, it's a reasonable price thing to get. And it's kind of cool. And you know what? I don't buy a wacky guitar very often. I'm going to buy a couple wacky guitars. So I bought Sweetwater sponsored the last Schecter, but this one I actually bought with my own money. I just think it's really cool. So it isn't really for the clicks. I mean, it probably will get clicks, and it already has gotten clicks. But I think it's just going to be a cool thing. Fender has been killing with artist models like the Jim Adkins Telly, the Johnny Marr Jag, J Mashus. Yes, agreed. Yep. Also, I would be glad to find a used Pink Squire Strat for about $60. Yeah, and I guess the reason why I want to start doing these, I'm just going to say it things, is because while I have an opinion about it and while you may not agree with it, I do want to just put things into context. I think a lot of times people will just get angry on the internet, like you've been saying, and they'll just say stuff just to say stuff and stir up And it's like, it's totally counterproductive to what we even do as guitar players, as musicians, as people who are into music. Music is like the thing that is beyond all boundaries it's supposed to be, right? Like, and I really feel strongly about giving young people an avenue into playing guitar and playing music and being creative and allowing them the space to do that and not be curmudgeons about it. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, I think it's a huge deal. So anyway, there you go. That's my first one. I don't know how often I'm going to do these. I don't know how often I'm going to have an opinion worth talking about, but I felt like this one was. Um, Let me know in the comments. If you're mean in the comments, they get deleted. I don't put up with that crap. So, obviously have an opinion. You can have a different opinion than me, but be nice about it because we're all here to hang out. That's what we're here to do. Since you only have space for 2 guitars, does that mean you're finished? Dude, okay, so this is a problem. So, I have the Gibson, I have my acoustic, I have the first Schecter. So here's the deal. I'm hoping we're going to be in my hometown near my mini storage and near my mother-in-law's house. I hope when this guitar comes out. I'm actually having it shipped to my mother-in-law's house. So we will be in Augusta, Georgia for a month in December. And I'm hoping, because I'm actually buying another guitar too. I'm buying a bass to do some pickup development. And so I'm kind of hoping, and I'm actually also buying another Les Paul. So there's going to be a pile of guitars in the month of December and a bunch of crazy videos. So make sure you subscribe. We got some crazy stuff coming up. Crazy stuff coming up. I'm actually building a telly right now on Patreon. So if you join Patreon or become a YouTube member down there, we're doing a live thing. It's actually Sunday, and we're building a telly. And so that guitar is actually going out to a Patreon patron. He bought it before it was finished. So we'll have a bass. We're going to have an Epiphone Les Paul. We're going to have this new pink Schecter. But it's all really for pickup development stuff. So I don't know how long I'm going to own any of it. But it's all going to be around. And it's going to be, yeah. No, I'm not finished buying guitars. I was actually shopping for a proper Les Paul this morning. Don't tell anybody. Don't. I mean, she doesn't care if I buy a guitar. Like, she never cares. I can buy whatever I want. She doesn't care about that. Because she knows it's for work and we're using it for different stuff. But it is the room thing. I'm kind of out of room. So anyway, Dylan's mother is a huge Machine Gun Kelly fan, so he will never get the guitar back. Funny story about that. I posted a picture of the Machine Gun Kelly guitar, and it's my mother-in-law, not my mom. My mother-in-law actually texted me and said, "That guitar is amazing. I love the color, blah, blah, blah." So you might be right. Yeah, man. I get that old school guitar fans only believe in old school shredders, but come on, aren't we all bored of all that stuff? I want to hear new stuff, not remakes of the 1980s. Dude, you said it, I didn't, and I 100% agree. 100% agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, this has been super fun. Thanks for hanging out. Please make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell. You can check out the merch. Use the links below. Obviously, all that stuff helps us when we do things. If you use those Sweetwater links, especially, that really helps because hopefully they'll sponsor some more videos. They liked the last one, so that would be great. And yeah, man, thanks for hanging out. And I guess we'll see you Monday.